She didn't want to leave. She and Alan demanded a renegotiation. And the production, whoever they were that produced that show, didn't want to get pushed around that way.
Mm-hmm.
And so they didn't fire her. They ostracized her. They basically shunned her.
Okay, this is my intimate talk with Patrick Duffy. You are going to know him like you've never known him before. We all love him as Bobby Ewing, and we all love him from Step by Step and everything he's done. But believe me, you will love him on another level, even more after this talk.
So this is the perfect segue into Step by Step, because
There you go. You're a master at this, aren't you?
You are. You just did it because you were talking about Victoria, but then it suddenly reminded me of Suzanne Somers, who, by the way, she was also on my show.
And by the way, she became my Hagman.
I know. And I heard you say that before, but I forgot actually to even say that at the beginning. You could have watched Suzanne's episode to get a feel for.
I could have,
yeah. But we talked a lot about that, of her being Chrissy Snow, right? And then leaving. And she was also somebody who left.
And she got fried for leaving.
Yeah.
Right,
you didn't really get fried.
No.
But she got fried.
Yeah. Well, because, and she talks about this, so it's not tales out of school, but they poisoned the well there in terms of trying to renegotiate. She didn't want to leave. She and Alan demanded a renegotiation, and the production, whoever they were that produced that show, didn't want to get pushed around that way.
Mm-hmm.
And so they didn't fire her. They ostracized her. They basically shunned her. She was no longer in those ensemble wonderful scenes in the living room of everybody falling over the couches and on the things and all that. She had a 2-walled set, a chair, and a phone, and they would call Chrissy.
Oh, that's right. Now you say that, I remember.
If you look at the last...
She was away. Was she away?
Well, yeah, she was always on a trip somewhere or doing something, and they would call her. She would come in maybe one day out of the whole shoot. They would have that set up. The cameras would be locked off. She'd read her lines.
So rude, like so blatantly.
Yeah. So she reinvented herself. She went to Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
She started honing her singing craft. She has a beautiful voice. She has a great style of singing. Alan, shepherded her through all that. And then she came back. We were still doing Dallas. She came back and did She's the Sheriff, which was, I think, a 1-season show.
Okay.
And then nothing crickets until Step by Step. And literally, I walked in and met her the first day on Step by Step. And I shook hands, and in my mind, I went, "Oh, you're my new Haggy."
You're very lucky. I mean, it's very cool for that to happen. But you know what? Okay. It's not just luck then.
I don't think
there's something about you.
There's just the fortune of finding the right people too.
Yes, both. I think there is the luck because, right, you're not always, even if you are that person and you come across that way and you emulate that and you know, if you're not synced up to people who feel that and appreciate that and can give that back.
Right. You could do it, but sometimes it's a lot of work. And when it's really working, it's no work at all.
Mm-hmm.
And the same thing was true. Suzanne and I couldn't wait to get to the soundstage to do Step by Step. And instead of going to our rooms, we would sit in our chairs off camera and we would just talk all the time, just chat away. And we'd see each other every day. And people would say, "What do you have to talk about?"
Yeah. There's always stuff to talk about.
Yeah, it's like a quilting club or something. We were just hammering away at each other the whole time.
Well, do you think if there was somebody other than Suzanne, like, would you have had that friendship?
Well, I don't know. I'm falling in love with Linda. If I had worked with her, I think it would have been the same.
Are there other, I mean, you've worked on other things, many other things too.
I've had wonderful co-stars all the time, especially women, to be quite honest. I mean, that goes with the territory of being typecast, because of what I look like and the parts that I'd played prior. So I've worked, the joke was I've worked with so many beautiful women, all of the Charlie's Angels, And I actually went to bed with them all on the episode too, which
Oh,
was
wait,
interesting.
really? Wait, you what? You really were worked with every Charlie's Angel?
Well, that were on the show at that time. It was Jacqueline Smith,
Yeah.
who her character fell in love with my character on the show. And then in the same episode, Cheryl Ladd's character fell in love with my character on the show. And we kept the affairs separate from one another. And then the only way they could resolve it, because the angels couldn't fall in love erroneously, right? So they had to kill me. So they killed me in order for them to both mourn the man they loved, And then I did a TV movie with Linda Carter, Wonder Woman, and we fell in love and got married, and it was just, I've just met Lonnie Anderson,
They're icons, every single one of them.
Every single one of them. It just goes on.
And you got along with all of them.
All of them.
So that's you for sure. But I think that the friendship that you became best friends with Haggy. And what did you call Suzanne? I forget. Do you have any?
Suzanne? I always called her Suzanne.
Oh, just Suzanne. Okay.
Yeah. Nobody called her Susie or anything.
Okay.
Yeah, it was always Suzanne.
I hear you. So Suzanne and Haggy, those were because they were like that too.
Right. And because I was with Hagman for the original 13 and then 2 more, so 15 years working together. Suzanne was 7 years in a row, playing husband and wife who were madly in love with each other, and sexually attracted to each other, which made 7 kids on the show go, ew,
But that was a great gig to go to. Also, like totally different from Dallas, but at the same time, it seems to me like you were happy at least with Suzanne for sure.
God. The kids on the show were like my children. And when the show was over, for years when the show was over, I would get Father's Day cards from them, from especially Stacy Keenan and Christine Lakin. I wrote a letter of recommendation. It wasn't why she got in, but I wrote a letter to get Stacy into law school, saying, what a great person she is, how intelligent she is, how, everything. Same with Christine. I get baby pictures. I get, they're like family.
So do you think it's still possible to be like that now, or are we in a different era where people are more transient and move on? Do you know what I mean?
Well, first of all, there's something, what the beauty was it happened from day one, but the longevity of the shows made it permanent in your life. And shows just don't last that long anymore.
No.
A season sometimes is 8 to 10 episodes. And it's hard to get in that rhythm, and it has to be a show that's joyful. And a lot of these shows that run are zombie shows or, killer shows.
Like
and
depressing.
And it's just like, spewing blood all the time. Do you want to go have a drink afterwards, or you just want to get the blood off?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm sure with the right combination of people and project, you could, because human nature is human nature.
Yeah. But also it's like, again, that protectiveness, almost what we started talking about earlier,
right.
Which is like the people who you're working with have to have that lack of, I don't know what.
That's interesting. Again, I never thought of it this way until you brought that up. With Haggy and with Suzanne, there was almost no wall. I did not have to edit.
Oh, you didn't have to edit.
I didn't have to edit.
Have the
I
wall.
did not have to edit, and I didn't have the wall then, because there was, I've known you now for. I stopped wearing a watch when I went to Mexico. What does that tell you?
That's awesome.
Yeah, but I haven't known you that long.
Yeah.
But the sense that I had over time with Linda and with Haggy and with Suzanne was I was completely safe. They know my life. Linda and Larry were the only people that I told when I got cancer and went through that, just because I knew it would go no further than right there. And it wasn't that I needed to keep it a secret, but I just didn't want 1,000 reporters wanting my comment on, a procedure.
Sure.
So, but there was no wall with those two.
So you knew right away you didn't need the wall.
I didn't need the wall with them, and there's that's the interesting thing about the wall that I hope people get. And I know you do because you're a shrink, is that it's not like I have secrets. It's not I'm protecting a secret, unless you use the other form of the definition of the word secret, which is to secret something. In other words, I want to have things that are precious to me that I protect, not because they're any different than anything that other people wear on their shirt sleeves in public, but I want those few things that are my treasures that I go back to. And so I secret them away.
Yeah.
But they're not really a secret because I'm not trying to keep people from discovering something. I want to be able to lock my mental door and know I'm safe behind it. And I do that.
Yeah.
I do that.
So what are some of those things that you secret?
Well, I don't even know. I can't. Well, broad strokes. I would say I'm pretty insecure as a person. I will absolutely say that I am an introvert. I am most comfortable in my home or on whatever property I'm on, without people, unless it's somebody, my wife for 46 years, 47 years, or Linda. But the joke I tell people, because I love being out, is that it's not oxymoronic.
It's not.
I love being out, but when I'm out, I'm on. And not exhaustively on. Just I know that people have an impression, and that I want to give them the proper impression of who I am. So that's why I edit. And I'm telling the truth. I'm just editing while I'm telling it. But over the breakfast table with Linda, no, I don't edit.
Right.
With Haggie, I didn't edit. We took so many trips together. We got so drunk together on a regular basis. We told each other everything. There was no secrets. Linda would observe the two of us and she'd say, "Oh, boys,"
Yeah.
And when the three of us would travel, it was like mother and then these two crazy guys.
Sure.
But we would sit in our hotel room when we would take trips. We'd go to Europe together and all these things, usually for work, and not long work, but 4 days in Germany.
Yeah.
And they pay you a whole bunch of money.
That's
and
nice.
And you don't have to memorize lines. It's all that kind of stuff. So what do? Well, you just go out and find bistros and Hofbraus and drink beer and chat. And then you go to your room and instead of people going to Linda's room, Larry's room, and my room, we'd all meet in Haggie's room. And he and I would empty the mini bar, and then we'd order hamburgers at 3 a.m. And it was so joyful.
Yeah, you're really lucky to have experienced that in that way and have been open to it at that time as well, and to appreciate it now.
It just was meshed. It was perfect.
So it's interesting that you say that you're an introvert too, and I believe you, by the way. I'm not saying that you're not, but it is, I think a lot of people who are introverts don't come across as introverts.
Yes, I think so too.
And also because it is like where you derive your energy, right? So you do need to be away from everything and people and whatever to get your energy back, and that's normal.
Right.
But it's also interesting because you made such good friendships, so you're able to still be extroverted in some way enough to connect with the people that you've connected with. And
I'm not falsely connecting with them. That's I want to emphasize that, is that I'm not playing a character. I am me. I'm just the me that's kind of expected to be me, but hopefully not shallow. I'm like that Al Franken character on Saturday Night Live, Deep Thoughts.
Yeah, with Deep Thoughts with what? Was it Paul Baldwin or is that somebody different? Deep Thoughts, right? I'm so and so,
and because you deserve it, or something like I forgot.
And I like me, or something like that.
Yeah,
right.
I forget his character name, but so
But you come across as authentically, for sure.
It is me. I mean, it is me, and it's authentic. It's just I know that I'm not guarded is not the right word. I'm aware. And then when I'm with the people that I'm completely comfortable with, I don't have to be aware, because I know that whatever comes out is exactly who they know.
Yeah, and you're safe.
And I'm safe.
But also about being insecure. I think a lot of people would be surprised about that, but I think that everybody is insecure.
I think they are too.
I think you would be hard pressed to show me somebody who's not insecure, no matter how they come across.
That's true. That's true.
We all are.
Yeah. And and that's one of the first things I told Linda when we got together. You don't understand how insecure I am. Are you sure you love me?
Did she believe you?
Yeah. Well, yeah, she knows. Every morning it's like, it's me again. Is it okay that I'm here? I'm starting to get a little more relaxed about it.
Right.
Actually, we bought a house in Mexico. So what does that tell you? Yeah.
So you're insecure about like anything, or how people feel about you, or what?
Well, this is another thing, is I'm insecure around people that not only that I admire, but that I stand in awe with a little a at their capabilities and at their intellect and at their grasp of things. And I don't think of myself as being extremely intellectual or I certainly don't have a business sense. So, that's way out of my wheelhouse. So I'm always a bit insecure of being found out,
So like imposter syndrome.
Yeah. So I don't, well, is that what it's called?
That
the
is what it's
imposter
called.
Syndrome? Okay. Oh, dear God.
And not everybody has imposter syndrome.
No, but,
I'm not going to say everybody, but it's
common.
Yeah.
It is common. And it's not debilitating. It doesn't, I'm not a recluse. Mm-hmm. I just really enjoy quietude. I'm not antisocial. I just enjoy small relationships with special people. If you said, which 5 people would you like to dinner? I'd stop at 3 and go, I don't know who else.
Yeah. Isn't it so funny that like the human brain, like what we do, we're constantly thinking about ourselves and are we good enough and how we come across and like just, it's a constant
It's how I got dressed to come and do this interview. I didn't just throw on what was in the closet. Everything was a conscious choice.
Of course.
I'm going to be on camera. I know who I'm talking to. I know what she looks like. I think, how do I want to look? Where this? Should I do the button up? Or I shouldn't do the button up. Yeah, I should do the button up. Should I wear a t-shirt or should I not wear a t-shirt? Linda, what do you think? Should I wear a t-shirt? Should I not wear it? It's like, just go to the interview.
That was Patrick Duffy, and there's so much more where that came from. Get ready. I put links to the other parts of this show in the description down below. If you liked this video, by the way, tap the like button and drop a comment and read them, and I really would love to know what you think about Patrick, me, Really Famous, this conversation, anything. Dallas, Bobby Moon, who's got JR, whatever. Drop it in the comments below.
If you like this video, by the way, you will probably want to catch my talk with Suzanne Somers, right? There is a link in the description to that.